Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
The 76ers did not show up against the Brooklyn Nets this evening. I'm not truly disgusted by the loss, and I hate to go with this description when it comes to the game, but it was one of those. Really, that's the best way to describe it. It was one of those games. That's going to happen in an 82-game schedule. That's reality. Stinkers happen, clunkers happen, and that's the way I saw this game. I hate to go with that narrative. I know that it's not something to defend, but it's a reality. It's something that occurs in any season, in any professional sport, and you just move on to the next one. Because this game happened against the Nets, I don't think any differently about where this basketball team is. I've seen them beat good teams. I've seen them beat Denver, Toronto, Boston, in Boston, okay? So I've seen them beat Miami. This isn't an issue because they lost to the Brooklyn Nets. Is it disappointing? Sure, it's disappointing, but you move on to the next one and you have the Miami Heat in Miami on Wednesday. That's what I'm focused on now. Before we talk more about this blowout, I need to let you know about the promo code BROADS that you can use at SeatGeek's checkout page for $20 off of your total purchase. So you can go to a game, you can get free parking essentially, or you can put it towards beer, free beer. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. Or food. It's a no-brainer. Use the promo code BROADS today. So no Joel Embiid in the lineup, which changed this game tremendously because as you saw, the Brooklyn Nets abused and attacked the rim. In their 109 points, I believe. Hold on, where's the stat I have written down? Where is this? Yes, okay. Of their 109 points, 64 of them were in the paint. So they kept attacking. Now, one thing I would say is I wish there was some sort of adjustment to stop that instead of allowing them to continue to pound the rock in the paint. Like, can't we call a timeout and say, okay, they're doing this. Can we stop it? Instead of allowing it to occur over and over and over again. That would go on Brett Brown. But to be fair, heading into this game, and I tweeted this out, the Sixers were 20-7 heading into this game. They won 13 of 15. And they were undefeated at home. They still are, by the way. This was an away game. Brett Brown has gotten zero credit from the fan base for doing that. And after a loss, everyone screams, fire Brett Brown. Now, as I state that, I fast forward to this game, and I think that he needs to do a better job with adjustments in this game because they kept going to the same thing. At that point, you are a coach and you need to stop it. He did not do that. But I don't think he needs to get fired because of it. I just need to critique him in this game situation where he needs to be better. But overall, Brett Brown is doing a phenomenal job as they are 20-8, so give the man some credit. But anyway, getting back to this game, Joel Embiid not being in the lineup affected this game because they kept going, knowing no one would be there to stop them. Until Norvel Pelle came in the game and started blocking everyone. How about that block on DeAndre Jordan? The dude is not afraid. I mean, he's not afraid. He will get posterized and not care because he'll block someone 7 times before that. It takes a lot of courage to stand up to some of these guys, especially someone like DeAndre Jordan who is known for abusive dunks. He'll do anything. He'll stand there, go straight up and down, go vertical and attack. I got to give credit to him for not being afraid. But listen, in his position where he's trying to get some playing time, he has to do it. I mean, it's something he needs to do. I can compare it to when I was playing college hockey. I got to do anything I can to get in the lineup. So I'm in practice blocking shots with my hand, doing all the little things that I need to do. I ended up literally breaking my thumb was hanging off my hand. But afterwards, I couldn't be mad that I did that in practice because that's the only way for me to get in the lineup, do things like that. Well, with Norvel Pelle, if he was to get dunked on, he'd have to shake it off and say, well, this is what I need to do to stay in the lineup. So I respect the hell out of him for going up and down on any single player in this league. No matter what, he's not afraid. He will challenge. Sadly, he wasn't able to block 64 of their 109 points in the paint. So Al Horford got the nod for Joel Embiid, and you saw some rust. He did not make any three, 0 for 6 from 3. He shot 5 of 15 from the field. Then you look at Josh Richardson. He was definitely rusty as well. 5 of 15 from the field and did not make one three-pointer. So not only was it a game where they weren't really intense defensively and they didn't bring the heat defensively, they were not able to make their shots whatsoever. They shot 19.2% from three, only knocking down 5 of their 26 attempts. I hate to be so cliche, but here is the truth. It was one of those games. I know why fans would be frustrated with this loss, because here's an opportunity without Kyrie Irving to beat the Brooklyn Nets and to stay on pace for second seed in the East. But here's the thing. We focus so heavily on the Sixers. We watch them every game. We watch every possession, every single quarter, every play. And that's fine. That's what we do as fans. We don't watch the Bucks, the Celtics, the Heat. We don't watch them the same way. Those squads lose to bad teams as well. Those teams fall to lesser opponents too. We just don't care and we don't critique them as much because we're not emotionally attached to them, which makes sense. But we're not the only team to fall to lesser opponents, is what I'm trying to say. This happens in an 82-game season, so it's not the end of the world. Ben Simmons had 20 points. One thing I noticed, though, with the Nets, they sagged off. There were moments where Brett Brown elected to put him in the post. This is the type of game where let it fly, dude. Let it fly. He did not do that. He did not let it fly. You look at the 20 points and you can be impressed with 20 points. But with the way, one, the game was going, why not take a chance on a jump shot, right? Think about what I'm saying. Why not take a jump shot, dude? And two, with them playing the way that teams will play on him in big moments, why not attempt something there? Just as a teaching moment. It's a 20-point game. The Sixers are getting blown out. You see them sagging off. Here's an opportunity to just grow. I feel like I've been really brutal and harsh on Ben lately, but it's out of love. It's out of respect. Anyone who's followed this channel for a really long time knows that I am a Ben Simmons stan. I am a big fan of his game, and that's why I get so hard on him, because I watch him succeed and dominate at times. But then he irritates me when he goes on these mini runs where he's not at his best, or when he takes a step back. I've seen him come up so big and dominate games and be aggressive. And then I see times where it's like, come on, Ben, how? Why? Huh? Now, this wasn't an extreme, how, what? But I just noticed some little things. Like, dude, they're sagging off you. It's a 20-point game. Shoot a jumper. Who cares if it's not going in? No one else's is going in either. Moving on. Tobias had 17 points on 17 shots. He was just shooting a lot, trying to get something going. You know, just one of those games. The bench as a whole struggled. They got outscored by the Nets bench. They were not productive enough. Matisse Thybulle didn't have his strongest game. I thought the refs were abysmal. They put players in foul trouble. I think the Sixers had the Nets at the team limit not even 2 minutes into the third quarter. So at that moment, I expected the Sixers to really attack, get fouled, go to the rim, hit your free throws. But it did not play out that way. And speaking of free throws, and I'm going to discuss this every game because it is a major concern in my opinion, and it's not getting talked about enough. Everyone likes to pick on some of the other hot items with this team, which is totally fair, but they shot under 60% from the free throw line, 58.8%. It is a common theme. It is disgusting to look at, and it's every game. When you look at where they are in the league, it's in the bottom half. I mean, this is sickening, and it comes down to free points. Free points. Here's a chance to get free points. I'm not looking for 100%, but this is disturbing to see. It is constantly less than 60, less than 70. Like, come on. You gotta be better than that. That's something that these players can do on their own time, in the gym, after practice. Knock down your free throws. And it's not as if I think these guys don't practice it, right? Because we all know that NBA players practice their free throws. That's reality. That's what they do. They do practice their free throws. But if it's not correlating to the game, you need to figure something out. Is the only way to do it practice, 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 practice? What if you practice for 6 years straight free throws after practice, but you go into a game and it doesn't work? Do you just continue to do the same exact thing until it gets fixed? I don't know. I'm asking because normally the answer would be you just do it every day, you continue, and eventually it will correlate to success in games. But what if it doesn't? Do you just continue to do the same thing over and over again? Or do you switch something up? What would you switch up? I don't know. My point is, the Sixers don't hit enough of their free throws, and it bothers me. It doesn't get discussed enough. It bothers me. So I'm not going to cry, okay? I'm not going to cry. It's irritating, sure. It's frustrating, I get it, because it's a team that you should beat. And the Sixers were on a nice run after some nice emotional wins, and here's a chance for a win streak, and they fell flat on their face. It was a dud. They were never involved. Never. They couldn't stop the Nets, and they couldn't score. But this shouldn't change your opinion on what this team is. If they go into Miami on Wednesday and win, is anyone going to think about this Brooklyn Nets team on Sunday afternoon and say, I can't believe it? Absolutely not. Once again, though, may I add that the starting five did not play a game together once again. I mean, you got to laugh at it. You have to laugh at it. There's always someone missing from the starting rotation. And that's playing a factor. Al Horford sliding to the 5 instead of playing the 4. Mike Scott getting thrown into the mix. That affects the bench play. Now, this was clearly a game for Joel Embiid to sit. What did they say? He had an upper respiratory infection? Okay, you mean load management or rest, if you will? I'm not mad for the Sixers sitting him this game because reality is Joel Embiid does need load management. He's not going to play 82 games. He's going to play in the high 60s. I am not mad for the Sixers sitting him. But I do get irritated because they will not play as a group, a starting 5 group, enough this season. When it comes down to the playoffs, we're going to look back at this regular season and say, wow, I can't believe the starting 5 only played 12 games together. Maybe it'll change once the back half of the season starts. Brett Brown always talked about how Christmas time this team will start gelling and you will know more of the identity at Christmas time. Well, Christmas is sneaking up on us. I mean, it is super, super close. So we should be around the time where we know what this team is. And I think we do, essentially. But that doesn't mean the starting 5 played enough together. I think we know the identity of this team. The defense is super strong when they want it to be. They have the ability to score efficiently. And I know that's a discussion, right? That's a debate because some people think that this offense stinks, and I don't think it's to that degree. I think it depends on the night. If Tobias Harris is clicking and Joel Embiid is having a good game and Al Horford's producing around 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists, and Josh Richardson is scoring 25 points, like I've seen this team work efficiently offensively while being elite defensively. I've seen it. Now, is it consistent enough? That's another discussion to be had, but I don't think this offense is as bad as what people assume that it is. But there's no doubt that the identity starts with the defense. And when you date it back to this Brooklyn Nets game, and not so much ahead, when you look back at this Brooklyn Nets game, it all started with the lack of intensity defensively. Allowing them to attack, allowing them to get to the paint, allowing them to just get to the rim. That was the storyline. That changed the game. The Sixers got out-rebounded. Once again, Joel Embiid not being in the paint definitely changes that, but it's still unacceptable. Rebounding is will. If you are willing, you will come down with the board. When you look at the numbers, Out-rebounded by 13. You still have big guys in there. You have Ben Simmons, who is a 6'10 point guard. You have Al Horford. You have Mike Scott. Get on the glass. Eat those boards. It was tough to watch. It was. It was tough to go through. I went right from the Eagles game to that. And the Flyers were in the mix as well. And don't even get me started on the Flyers. They have fallen apart big time. And it's a shame. But they definitely have fallen apart. But going back to this, it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be annoyed. But let's not forget big picture that it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's hard to I guess it's hard to process how it gets to this degree. How do they come up this short? How are they not focused and willing to compete? How did they just go through the motions against a Brooklyn Nets team when they were on some sort of high run, right? Like, how does this happen? But I even stated it after the recap against the Pelicans. My mindset always goes, okay, they won 5 straight. They're on a nice run. They're due. And I don't like that my mind thinks that way, but it does. They are due. Eventually, a team loses a game. Now, you look at the Bucks and they go on this obnoxious win streak. Could that be the Sixers ever? It might be. Maybe that's just the Negadelphia in me that thinks that it's going to come to an end soon. But I know this team. I know these players. And I know that there's going to be a game where they don't show up and they don't compete hard enough. And I wasn't wrong. It ended up being the next game. But guess what? I'll take it happening against the Brooklyn Nets over it happening in Miami. If they come out in Miami with this type of effort, we're talking about a totally different feeling. I will be crushed. I will be devastated. I will be pissed. But I don't expect them to be. There's something to be said about going into the game without Embiid, knowing that it's Brooklyn, knowing that Miami's next on the schedule after this one. Not that it's right to look ahead, but I understand the circumstances at the end of the day. So breathe, relax. I don't think that they will shoot this poorly consistently. I don't think that they will give this type of effort defensively every single night. It's a good old-fashioned dud. How about Spencer Dinwiddie dropping 24, being aggressive and attacking? It's funny, I believe last year he dropped 39 points on the Sixers and ended up getting a contract extension. Unbelievable. It seems like whoever plays the Sixers, somebody goes off and has a great game. But I want to talk about the Nets real quick. I don't want to dive too heavily into it, but I'm just intrigued by the future. Kevin Durant, obviously a stud, and I don't think the Achilles is going to stop him to an insane degree. If you get 80% of what Kevin Durant was, well, you're still in good shape and he can still dominate the league. But I want to get into Kyrie Irving. See, I'm a Kyrie Irving fan, and I don't think it's fair that he got crucified to the point that he did after the Boston Celtics drama occurred. Here's the thing. It worked out when he was injured, and the Celtics looked good and they overachieved. So the expectations when he returned was, oh wow, we have this great team. They're going to dominate the league. They're going to take over. They're NBA champions. The Bill Simmons quote that is phenomenal and hilarious about how many wins they're going to get in the regular season starts going up all over the place on Twitter. It's just not fair that it didn't work out and he's the one getting roasted, abused, and crucified. Listen, there was a problem all around with that team. The expectations internally and externally clearly affected the culture when it didn't work as well as they planned. It's not Kyrie Irving's fault, his leadership and all that. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that now that time has passed. I think he's a great player. Maybe he's not a superstar leader, but I don't think he's a major issue or a big-time problem in locker rooms. It just didn't work out in that situation. Sometimes that happens. Players need new scenery all the time. The Celtics are playing better right now. Okay, maybe Kemba Walker has more of a personality that fits the rest of the bunch. Sure, but that doesn't mean that Kyrie Irving is this horrendous teammate and he's awful. It sure worked out in Cleveland when he was the Robin to the Batman, and I would argue more than just Robin. If there was like a Batman 2.0, which I guess is Robin, and I probably sound stupid right now. I don't know. I'm not a big Marvel guy. Oh man, if someone is a comic fan and heard me say that and that's wrong, then I'm sorry. I'm not big into the comics, if you will. But anyway, my point is this. I don't think it's fair that Kyrie gets ripped apart to the point that he does. I think he's a good player, a hell of a player. He's someone that you want on your team late in the fourth quarter when you need a bucket. Am I wrong? Absolutely not. I love watching the kid play. I do. His handles are electric. He's smooth. He's silky. He's elite. So, I don't know. That's just how I feel on it. Regardless, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. I will see you next time.